And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Take a look at our AP College Football Top 25 just released this past Sunday. For week number 5, Ohio State remains on top, 52 first-place votes, followed by Miami of Florida. They got 7 votes. And Penn State got 5 first-place votes, followed by LSU, Georgia. That's the top 5. Oregon was 6 with 1 first-place vote. Oklahoma jumped up 4 spots from 11 to number 7. And the Sooners actually got 1 first-place vote in the top 25 poll. Rounding out the top 10, Florida State 8, then it's Texas A&M 9, and Texas 10. Take a look now at some of the activity in college football. Big Four football scheduled in week number 5 coming up. Notre Dame, number 22 in the nation, 1-2 in the season, play at Arkansas in Fayetteville. What a big game for the Razorbacks. That is going to be an 11 a.m. kick on ABC Sports and National Television. The Hogs are 2-2 after two tough road losses at Memphis and at Mississippi. Baylor, 2-1, goes to Oklahoma State. Challenging the Cowboys are 1-2, trying to bounce back. That game is 2:30 on Saturday afternoon at Lewis Field in Stillwater. It's ESPN2. Then Tulsa, off that big victory at Oklahoma State, they will be hosting Tulane. They started the American Conference play, a second game for them, I should say. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff on ESPNU. The Sooners, meanwhile, have an open date. Next week, they'll have an open date again. They'll play Kent State. We're getting back to SEC play in the big Texas rivalry the second week in October. Take a look now at our guest list for the week. First-year head football coach of the Golden Hurricane, Trey Lamb, joins us to talk about the impact of that victory over Oklahoma State on his new program. Tulsa World Sports columnist Eric Bailey, the OSU beat writer, gives the insight on OSU and what's going on with the future for Mike Gundy. Dave Hunziker has been the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys for 25 years. He was at a loss for words after that TU upset loss last week. And trying to get his words back, we talked to Dave Hunziker, got his take on the Cowboys' current football situation. Mike Knight joins us, PrepRedzone.com. He's going to look at the district play getting ready to start this week across the state of Oklahoma. Some big games coming up. And the field is set now for the Oklahoma Derby, the richest race at Remington Park for the Thoroughbreds. We'll have a preview of that with Dale Day. But first, let's take a look at our Tulsa World Hot Topics. SEC's annual rivalries are now set, at least for the next 4 years. Southeastern Conference will move to a 9-game conference schedule beginning next season, 2026. Each team in the conference will be assigned 3 annual rivalry opponents. The other 6 opponents will rotate. Many of the SEC top rivalries have been preserved. A couple of them have fallen through, though. Alabama LSU will no longer be maintained. But the Sooners keep their rivalry with Texas, of course. The other 2 rivals for Oklahoma in the next 4 years will be Ole Miss and Missouri. Arkansas has LSU, Missouri, and Texas. That's their rivalries. Congratulations to FC Tulsa, as they have now qualified for the playoffs in the United Soccer League. They punched their ticket with a 1-1 draw against Oakland this past weekend in California. Boy, Taylor Calahera had the equalizing goal, his 12th of the season, leading the FC Tulsa squad. That, with coupled with Phoenix Rising's 2-2 draw, gave Tulsa a big point there. That now confirms Tulsa's postseason berth with 5 matches remaining in the regular season. FC Tulsa continues on the USL road trip. Saturday, September 27th, they'll be at Indy 11. The team then starts October with 2 home matches. October 4th against Lexington SC. October 11th at One Oak Field hosting San Antonio. September 26th to 28th, one of golf's greatest events, the greatest international competition, the 45th Ryder Cup. We played between America's top 12 players and the best dozen players from Europe over 3 rounds, with 4 of those being foursomes, and then 4 balls Friday, then Saturday, 12 singles matches on Sunday to decide the Ryder Cup winner. Europe is the defending champion. They need 14 points to retain the cup, while the United States is the challenger, must get 14.5 points to get the cup back. Since 1979, Europe holds a 12-9-1 lead in the Ryder Cup. And while the Oklahoma State football team is certainly struggling, got some good news to you Cowboy fans. The fall championship men's golf tournament, they raced a 10-shot deficit in the final round of the Olympia Fields Fighting Illini Invitational last Sunday, and the Cowboys earned their first trophy of the season in men's golf. How about that for some good news for OSU? Getting right back now to celebrate with University of Tulsa head football coach Trey Lamb on the great victory they had over Oklahoma State. That's next here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Glad you're with us.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sportscene. We're joined now by the first-year head coach of the University of Tulsa Golden Hurricane, Trey Lamb. Coming off that incredible 19-12 upset at Oklahoma State. First time the Cowboys lost to Tulsa in Stillwater since 1951, over 70 years. Coach Lamb, what's the impact mentally on your young football team?
Yeah, certainly it's good to accomplish a win on the road. Hadn't done that yet. Certainly nice to win a 1-score game, gives our guys some belief. And certainly nice to win a rivalry game that's been played for a long time. And, I know we're catching them at the bottom, and they're not where they want to be. And, neither are we. It's year 1 for us. We got to get better. But the impact it's had on our players emotionally and our fans and our alumni is big. And it helps us in recruiting. It helps us in program development, helps us with belief. Really exciting night for us.
What was the immediate response, social media-wise, from TU fans, alumni, and former players? Yeah,
there was a lot. I got a lot of messages, a lot of texts, a lot of calls. It's been fun, but we certainly have to get focused on the task at hand and get better this week, because that game's over, and we got to make sure we move on. But it was great response from the alumni, the fans, former players, current players, parents. Things are a lot more fun when you win, and especially when you win against a good team you're not traditionally supposed to beat.
How many text messages did you receive on your phone, Coach?
I had 540 after the game.
Well, were you surprised that you were able to dominate both lines of scrimmage against the Big 12 football team?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was. I thought we would be able to run the ball, but I didn't know it would be at that rate, and I didn't know we'd be able to get them stop the run as well as we did. But, give a lot of credit to our coaching staff. They had the guys ready to play.
You made it clear at your press conference earlier this week that you still aren't satisfied.
No, we got a lot of work to do. I mean, Tulane's the best team we've played. We got to focus on us and focus on getting better. We had a heart-to-heart team meeting yesterday, and we are making sure that we are being very intentional about getting better. We want to be the best at getting better, and we don't need to make the same mistakes we made. I thought we played an average game, probably B+, but there's still a lot left in the tank and a lot of meat on the bone that we didn't get to.
I know you turned the page, so let's do the same thing. How do you get these players, though, back down on the ground and focusing on that 3 p.m. kickoff against Tulane, the team that was picked preseason to win the American Conference?
Yeah, we got to have a great practice. I mean, it comes down to practicing hard, practicing well, executing in practice. We got to make practice hard this week, difficult. That way the game's easier on Saturday. We got to take care of our bodies, take care of our minds. Got to hit the refresh button and make sure we're ready to go.
Give us a little bit of scouting report on Tulane. Coming here 2-2, a couple impressive victories over Northwestern from the Big Ten and from the Atlantic Coast Conference, beating Duke.
Yeah, just a complete team. Like, there's not weaknesses. Quarterback's a great player. They're big up front. They're athletic up front. They have a good back, really good wideouts. Tight ends are solid, big players. Defensively, I think they're terrific. I think John, has always been a defensive guy, and they do a really good job of, knowing who their people are, knowing where they're at. They're not going to trick you. They're just going to line up and play with great hat and hands, and got big corners, good secondary. There's not, like, you look at Oklahoma State, you say, okay, like, we think the interior D line is just okay, and the linebackers are good, but the safety is just okay. Like, right, when you're watching this team, there's not, so far, it's Monday, I haven't found a ton of weaknesses. I'm going to keep watching on the video, but right now it seems like they're a pretty complete team.
Trey Lamb, head football coach at Tulsa. How did your squad come out of that physical game with Oklahoma State, physically wise?
We were great. Didn't lose anybody. Everybody's back. We missed a tight end we didn't have last week due to concussion and Kirk Francis, but we get those guys back this week. So.
And your quarterback situation, coach, freshman played awful well.
Yeah, I like him. I think it's going to be hard to take him out of the lineup. We'll see how he practices this week and see how Kirk looks.
Well, since you became Tulsa's head football coach, the 35th coach in school history, and back in December, you made it clear this is Tulsa's team. You wear it, you sell it, and it really looks like you're bought into it, and so is the community.
Yeah, it's, I talked about in the press conference. It's, we don't have an NFL team. We don't have a franchise. We don't have an NBA or MLB team. We got Tulsa football, and we need to embrace it. We got a small alumni base, small student body, but the city of Tulsa's got 1 million people. And if we can capture the hearts and minds of the city, of the people that live in this city, we got a great chance to be successful.
And you emphasize recruiting in-state as well, and in this community as well, too, 918.
Yeah, 918 is big for us. With the best high school football in the state of Oklahoma is played right here in our city, and there's 8 to 10 programs right here that we need to be getting talent from. We got 34 players on our roster from Oklahoma. We need to continue to do that. I mean, there's guys from Bixby and Jinx and Broken Arrow and Rejoice Christian and Union and Owasso playing all over the country, and that bothers me because that means they skipped over the local school, and we got to make it cool to go to Tulsa again. I think we're doing that.
All right, so after 4 weeks, 2-2 record, what's your evaluation of your first Golden Hurricane football team?
Yeah, I think we're okay. I don't think we're world beaters. I think we got a chance to be in a bunch of games. I think, winning a close one Friday night really helped give some confidence for our guys, but we'll see. I think I'm certain I realize what our identity is and what our weaknesses are, and trying to protect those and use our strengths, but we'll see. I mean, I think we have a chance to have a good season. I'd love to make a bowl game in year one. It's going to be a tough task because of the schedule we have. We got 3 straight opponents that are really good, and this league's really good. So we got our hands full. Biggest thing I got to do is make sure we just keep getting better this year, getting better in the off season, getting better week to week.
Also embrace the fact that T is getting a lot of national publicity on TV.
Mm-hmm. So we played on ESPN for Friday night, obviously, and then this week we're on ESPNU on Saturday, and then the following week we're on ESPNU at Memphis, and then we're on ESPN again 2 weeks later against East Carolina on Thursday night after an off week. So, yeah, this is 4 weeks of national exposure, and we need to put a good product out there.
Well, I know you've embraced the 918. How's your family doing? How are they adjusted to Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yeah, they love it. My girls love it. My wife loves it. It's an awesome place to be. Great place to raise a family. I really mean that. It's perfect size. It's safe. There's a lot to do. My kids are loving school. They're loving everything about it.
Trey Lamb, head football coach here at Tulsa. Off to a great start here, a great win over Oklahoma State. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us here. And I appreciate you being with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Have a great week.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
All right, we're going to go right back with more OSU football with Eric Bailey, their beat writer. What's going on over in Stillwater? What's the future for Mike Gundy? That's coming up.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Well, in shocking news, and shocking to us after our first 2 segments here in Oklahoma State football and the future of Mike Gundy, there is no future. Mike Gundy has been fired, dismissed immediately, effective immediately at Oklahoma State University on Tuesday afternoon. Our segment here with Eric Bailey and a segment with David Hunziker did speculation on what might happen. Well, we know what happened. Mike Gundy has been fired. We'll follow up next week with more on Oklahoma Sports Scene. But that's the news. After 20 seasons, in his 21st season, the winningest coach in Oklahoma State football history has been dismissed, effective immediately. And Oklahoma Sports Scene, we're happy to be joined by a good friend of ours, Eric Bailey, the OSU beat writer for the Tulsa World. Eric and I were just at Mike Gundy's press conference earlier this week. What's the latest temperature in Stillwater after that upset loss to Tulsa this past weekend?
Well, it's tough for Oklahoma State, for the fans, for the administration, for the football team. There's so much going on over there. It's not the start that they expected, 1-2. Mike Gundy, we got a chance to talk to him on Monday. Really good press conference. I mean, he accepted some really hard questions and gave a lot of answers, good answers, quality answers. And he said that, when it came down to it, the question was, do you want to coach? Do you still want to coach football? This season, this is your job. And he said, 100%. I'm having fun. So. I don't know what that means. The Big 12 schedule's in front of them, but they really need to get better on the football field. It's kind of been a surprise with how much they've struggled this year so far, Chris.
Well, you were there Saturday, of course, for Friday night with Tulsa's upset win over the Cowboys. First time they won in Payne County in, over 70 years or something. It's 1951, I guess, since they beat OSU in Stillwater.
Yeah, and that was it wasn't a surprise with the outcome. I think the result. I had a feeling that Tulsa, they're really good under Trey Lamb. They really look like they're a really good football team. They're an improved team, and Oklahoma State was coming off that loss. I think the biggest surprise was how dominant Tulsa was over Oklahoma State. The final score was 19-12, but at one point it was 19-3, and Oklahoma State just couldn't get anything going. You wondered how they were going to come back. They had a bye week after that disappointing loss at Oregon, and you really got to feel that, they're going to play well, and it just didn't happen. And Chris, it was just tough on all sides all phases against Tulsa. And I don't want to take anything away from Tulsa either, because they went out and they played a great football game. They had a great game plan. But Oklahoma State, the boo birds were out. There were boos coming in the first half, and there were some fire Gundy chants from the student section. So it was something that Boone Pickett Stadium hadn't seen in quite some time.
Yeah, and it had also kind of hurt that Tulsa did it with some former OSU players. The Presley kid, of course, the former Bixby star, and then the Robinson kid just ran all over Oklahoma State, and he was released by the Cowboys. So came back and beat him with their own weapons.
Yeah, and that was it. I mean, you think about kids that go back and that's the kind of era we live in, the transfer portal era, where teams, there's opportunities to play your former team, and we saw that, and it looked like those two really took advantage of their opportunity. No doubt that they had this game circled in their minds for months, and they were ready to go over there and prove themselves, and they really did. Outstanding performance by both of those guys. But it was a team effort. I mean, they went out Tulsa again. Give them credit for that win. It was a big win for the Golden Hurricane.
Eric, how did it go so wrong so quickly? Think about they were 13th in the nation, considered the Big 12 contender last year. 2 years ago, they were in the Big 12 championship game. And then to go winless, the Big 12 last year was just stunning. What happened?
I asked that question a lot because, of course, I was on the Oklahoma beat last year, but, you following Oklahoma State from afar last year, you wondered what was going to happen because it seemed like the Big 12 was there for the taking once Oklahoma and Texas went to the SEC. Oklahoma State was a top three, predicted to finish in the top three last year, and the bottom fell out. And the surprising thing is they made coordinator changes, they overhauled the coaching staff, and they were trying to do things to fix things, but it's just been a struggle for this team on defense. All phases they're having issues, but defensively, last year they were giving up a lot of points in Big 12 play. I mean, they were giving at least 38 points. They gave up at least 38 points in every Big 12 game except one. And that was going to be a focal point coming into this year with the hiring of Todd Grantham. You thought that the defense would be better, and we just haven't seen that consistency on defense. And I think that's a big part of it. Plus the personnel too. I mean, I think when we're looking at the era where you can get the best athletes for the highest dollar, and it's been hard for Oklahoma State to find that special playmaker to come in and to get the job done.
And then this Saturday, the Cowboys start Big 12 conference play, welcoming the Baylor Bears, a 2:30 game on ESPN2 Saturday afternoon. And looking at the OSU schedule the rest of the way, Eric, I'm trying to find some victories there somewhere. Right now, I think they're 2-3 touchdown underdogs to Baylor at home on Saturday.
Yeah, and that's embarrassing, I think, a little bit too if you're an Oklahoma State fan because you're playing at home and you're a 21 point underdog, 3 touchdown underdog at home. So it's just a tough time right now. And the Big 12, that was one question we did ask some of the players this week is this a clean slate? Does this allow you guys to learn from non-conference and you get something to play for? But the momentum of that Tulsa game doesn't leave a lot to be desired. Chris, going into the season, I thought game 3 was going to be the litmus test. You knew they were going to beat UT Martin. You knew it'd be tough to go up to Oregon and win, and exactly what happened. But I thought Tulsa would be the litmus test. You'd see what was going to happen. You'd see what your football team is, and no one expected them to lose, but you thought that Oklahoma State would show what they had. And unfortunately for OSU fans, we got a good look at what they have. So moving forward to the Big 12, it's not going to be easy. This schedule's tough. I mean, it's going to be a tough season for the Cowboys if the first 3 games are any indication.
Well, Mike Gundy has a winning record against Baylor. He's 12-9 in his career against Baylor. Oh, interesting. Also, Eric, I saw that this would be his 99th win at Boone Pickens Stadium, and more importantly, it would be his 103rd career Big 12 win, which would be one away from tying Coach Snyder at Kansas State for the all-time winningest coach in Big 12 history. Again, no denying the success that Mike Gundy's had over the years.
That's the tough thing through all this is just seeing the legacy that Mike Gundy has had at Oklahoma State. And if this is, in fact, his last season, it's hard to see the last 2 years of Oklahoma State football compared to what he did in the first 19. He only had one losing season going into last year, and that was his first year. But that's the tough thing. And one thing you can't do if you're an Oklahoma State fan or a college football historian, you cannot allow these last 2 years to define his entire body of work at Oklahoma State. He's an outstanding coach. He's done good things. He's helped make OSU a brand name. People around the country know Oklahoma State football. So that's the hardest thing probably for everybody is to see this Mike Gundy career go down like this, if in fact this is his last season.
I was going to say, everything changes with victories. If they can put a few wins together, it might kind of calm things down. But if not, looks like the inevitable is going to happen. And keep thinking again what he's meant to that university. 35 years back in his playing days, just the coaching days, the 20 years as the head coach. And I got to think they got to name the field Mike Gundy Field, put a statue up, and give him a few $1,000,000. But I know that with the buyout is like $15 million right now, Eric, something like that.
15 million, but you think about going back to what I said about the legacy. That's one thing you have to remember. Oh, they do need to get a statue of Mike Gundy. He needs to be in the Ring of Honor. There's so many things you can do for him. It's it's a hard discussion right now, and it's hard to talk about it because of the current state of the program. But I think, a couple of years after Mike Gundy leaves, there'll be a lot of reflection and thinking about what he did. And I think he's one of those guys, after this year, we'll see what happens. But, years from now, people will look back and say, Mike Gundy, thank you for what you did for Oklahoma State football. And he deserves everything that he gets in terms of the appreciation for what he's done for that program.
And Eric, I've always had so much respect for Coach Gundy, and he kind of dug in his heels and said, I'm not going to buy players. I'm not going to get involved in this portal thing or NIL deal. We're going to do it the Oklahoma State way. We recruit, 2 and 3 star players. We develop them over 4 years. We win 10 games, go to bowl games, and he just didn't keep up with the times, it sounds like.
Yeah, and we're seeing that across the country with different programs, programs like Clemson. That's surprising me what's happening at Clemson. And we're seeing teams like Texas Tech that do spend money and how potent they are. Texas Tech has a good chance to win the Big 12, and they went out and they purchased some great athletes. And Chris, for me and you, it's hard to say purchase athletes. It's hard to see the money aspect of this because we're traditionalists. Yeah. We saw this game when it was pure. Well, I want to say pure. I know there was some under the table stuff going on, but close to pure back in the day. So this is something we're getting used to. And it was hard for Oklahoma State to roll with the punches. I mean, it comes down to the size of your wallet in terms of what you can do. It's not only coaching and putting together a good team.
Well, I saw a figure that through the years, they said 21 years as the head coach, that Oklahoma State has paid Mike Gundy something like $75 million to this point. So it's not a money situation at all. He's got great pride, and I just hope he gets to go out on his terms.
I do too, Chris. I think that's the thing. Again, there's going to be a point where we go back and reflect on his career. And again, we cannot let these last 2 seasons define what he's done for Oklahoma State football. He's meant so much to that program. I think it's tough for some of the longtime OSU fans to see it go out this way. And it's something that you really got to think about and thank Mike Gundy. Years from now, I think that's what will happen. It may not be in the present, but in the future, people are going to look back and really, really express their appreciation to Coach Gundy.
And you look ahead on that Big 12 schedule, Eric, where do you see some victories for OSU starting this Saturday?
Baylor's going to be tough. Baylor's a very physical team. They played Auburn tough. They played Arizona State tough, which are 2 really good programs. That's their only 2 losses. And it's going to be tough against Baylor. It's going to be tough every week. I mean, they got to go in with a game plan. I thought UCF might be their best chance to get a win, and UCF went and beat Bill Belichick in North Carolina pretty easily this past weekend too. And late in the season, UCF's going to, they're going to have a little momentum probably with Scott Frost as coach. This is going to be hard for Oklahoma State. They're going to have to just focus on every week, 1 week at a time, and they're really going to have to treat every game like their Super Bowl. It's going to be hard to break that 9-game losing streak in Big 12 play.
Eric Bailey, Tulsa World columnist, and of course the OSU beat writer. Eric, always thanks for joining us. By the way, straight ahead, another Cowboy, David Hunziker. He's been the voice of Oklahoma State football for 25 years. He's kind of lost of words too. David Hunziker, the Cowboys, coming up right after this break.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Well, in shocking news, and shocking to us after our first 2 segments here in Oklahoma State football and the future of Mike Gundy, there is no future. Mike Gundy has been fired, dismissed immediately, effective immediately at Oklahoma State University on Tuesday afternoon. Our segment here with Eric Bailey and a segment with Dave Hunziker did speculation on what might happen. Well, we know what happened. Mike Gundy has been fired. We'll follow up next week with more on Oklahoma sports scene. But that's the news. After 20 seasons, in his 21st season, the winningest coach in Oklahoma State football history has been dismissed effective immediately. With Dave Hunziker now, the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys for a quarter of a century. And Dave, what's happened in a year?
A lot of things. I think the current world of college football has sort of put Oklahoma State in a tough spot. And this year, obviously feeling it more than ever with practically a brand new team. And then you add to that a brand new coaching staff outside of Coach Gundy. And so the first thing that runs through my mind is there may be too much newness for 1 year to handle.
Yeah.
And now, could that get better as time goes along? Of course it could. You would expect that it would as we progress and everybody has a chance to work together. But you have a coaching staff that's brand new. You have a bunch of players that are brand new. And it's turned out to be very challenging. I thought that it could be.
Yeah.
I was hoping that it wouldn't be as challenging as it's been. Of course, when you lose Haas Haney, who's your running quarterback to start the year, and you're starting left tackle for several weeks, that makes matters much worse. So that certainly has played a role in it. But I think it's a culmination of things. But I think one thing that's happened here early in the year is there's probably just too much newness to have a lot of success early.
Yeah, Dave, 62 of the 114 players were not on the roster, part of this team. In December, 54% of that, that's a lot to try to overcome.
It really is. And so one thing that has happened, I think, as we've moved our way along here is you're trying to figure out, okay, who can play and who can't, who handles the big moment well, who doesn't. You don't have any reference point for that. And so even when you get into preseason practices, and they did have a nice long 3-week preseason camp before school started, you still don't know. I mean, you don't know until you put them out there in games. And even players that in previous years returned but only had limited experience, at least you had some game action to refer to sort of know how they would handle the moment. With, 54% of your guys, you had no reference point. And even some of the returnees had not played much, if at all. So it puts you in a challenging situation. And then you're dealing with new coaches, as I mentioned, new coordinators on both sides of the ball. You're trying to give those guys some rope if you're Coach Gundy to settle in and coach their various sides on offense and defense and sort of lead their coaches on each side of the ball. But even that, you don't know exactly what that's going to be like because they've never worked together at Oklahoma State and coached in a game and worked for Coach Gundy. So we're sort of back on that newness theme, but it all goes back to that.
Well, Dave, one thing that's not new in that program is you. 25 years.
Yeah, a long time.
My voice of the Cowboys. And I got to tell you, my friend, I've listened to you a lot of years, and you were busy at a loss for words, an explanation for your Cowboy listeners after the 1912 loss to Tulsa. This past Tulsa's first win in Payne County in over 50 years. Wow.
Yeah, it was, and I just didn't see this team struggling as much as it did. And just the lack of big plays from receivers is concerning. There really have been none of those except for sort of a fluke at Oregon, which was good. Defensively, the first half was not good. I don't know if they seem to be lacking energy or perhaps tentative. I'm trying to speak for them. I probably shouldn't do that, but something was off. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So that was concerning. And so I think what happens, Chris, is that 2 years ago this team was in a Big 12 championship game. 4 years ago they were an inch away from possibly winning a national championship.
Right.
And I think what happens is that it hits you that this has happened really fast, and you've gone from, just a short time ago being at the top of the mountaintop and having the Doak Walker Award winner with Ollie Gordon to now sort of wondering, is this team going to win another game? It's just sort of mind-boggling to think that this is where we are. And I think that's where I was in postgame Friday night. You sort of know from the Oregon game, but you sort of write that off as an aberration for a lot of different reasons and think, well, it'll get better and it'll be better against Tulsa. And Tulsa's a nice team, but not as strong as some of the other Tulsa teams, like 2020, for example, by no means. I mean, they're not trotting out Zaven Collins, who, well, by the way, if he wants to come play for Oklahoma State, we certainly find a place for him with the Arizona Cardinals. But I just think it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this has happened so fast. And you're sort of sitting there thinking, it's just, and things have changed, and that all the advantages Oklahoma State has enjoyed over the years are gone. They're just gone, and they're not coming back.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to come to peace with it. I can tell you that for sure. I think probably every Cowboy fan feels the same way.
Well, Dave, I've been to a lot of games, watched a lot of games in Boone Pickens Stadium there, and listened to you, of course, and never before heard the chants of Fire Gundy. And here's a guy that's been 35 years involved somehow as a player, as an assistant coach, as a head coach for 21 years, winningest coach in school history. In fact, I look at this, if they beat Baylor on Saturday, it'll be his 99th win at Boone Pickens, and it'll be the 103rd win, his 103rd Big 12 win, which is one away from tying Bill Snyder, the all-time winningest coach in Big 12 history. I mean, obviously, Mike Gundy hadn't forgotten how to coach.
No, and I think, again, I think everyone's coping with the same emotions of this has happened really, really fast. And so that puts everybody on a bit of an emotional edge. I'll tell you this, though. Having worked at schools where people didn't even know you were playing a game on a day and taking tickets to 7-Eleven that people can get for free, hoping they would just grab one and come, I don't mind that because at least people are invested enough to care. The biggest enemy that any college sports program can have is not losing, it's apathy.
Yeah.
And if they care enough to express how they feel, they're not apathetic. And that's a good thing. Apathy is far worse than struggling. I can assure you that. When you have both, then you've really got problems.
Yeah, and Mike made a mention of that at this press conference earlier this week. How impressed he was with the turnout and the fans. Appreciate the fans' support. And so let's talk about this Saturday. What do you expect? 2:30 kickoff, ESPN2. It's a Baylor coming in at 2-2, and Cowboys at 1-2.
Yeah, it's a really good Baylor team. They've had a lot of injuries defensively, but despite that, they kept Arizona State in check for the most part. Saturday night, it took a last-second field goal on the last play of the game from Arizona State to win. They've managed reasonably well, although they lost another linebacker Saturday night. Offensively, really good quarterback. Trigg, the tight end, is a pro, very versatile, can do lots of things. I mean, he's not like the guy. Now he's not Sadiq that we saw at Oregon. No one is him. No, it would be interesting to see. There may not be anyone like him when he gets to the NFL, but nonetheless, very good player. Big, tall, wide receivers who can make plays. We saw that if you watched the game Saturday night. Guys like Josh Cameron, for example, can go up in a jump ball situation and go get the ball. So, you're going to have to be very good on both sides, offensively and defensively, to have a chance, because they're going to offensively bring some things to you that are hard to deal with. Defensively, Dave Aranda has always been the guy that has coached the defense, and he knows exactly what he wants. And another thing about Baylor is you have to defend 4 downs because they're very aggressive on 4th down. So just because it's 4th down and 4, your work's not done. So many challenges ahead, but good to be back home. And you never know. Confidence is a funny thing, Chris. You get a little of it, and it can feed you for a long time. This team badly needs confidence. What it didn't need was to have something unusual happen that could rob them of that confidence. And that's what happened Friday night. So now you've got to get that back. And so, a win Saturday would do so much for this team in that area because they sorely need it. And with new players in particular, I think it's important to have those guys experience some success together.
Dave Hunziker, the voice of the Oklahoma State Cowboys for the past 25 seasons. And Dave, stay positive, my friend. Wish you all the best for Coach Gundy as well. And the Cowboy fans, stay loyal and true, like the alma mater says. Hang in there with your team.
Well, all you can do is keep going and know that we fought through worse times than this and came out pretty well for 20 years. So you just keep fighting and ask everyone to hang in there, support the players, because the players, a lot of them have never been here before. They're brand new and they need all the support they can get because, their emotions are probably a little bit challenging for them as well.
And remember, Cowboy fans, in 2008, Mike Gundy's OSU teams are ranked in the top 50 in the AP poll for the last, forever. So, perennial in there. So it's very unusual times, my friend. Wish you all the best, Dave, and we have to throw MIZ in there too for a couple of Mizzou guys.
Of course, yeah, of course they are. They're living in good times right now for sure.
Dave, thanks again. All the best against Baylor on Saturday. Thanks for joining us on Oklahoma Sportscene, my friend.
Oh, my pleasure, Chris. Thanks for inviting me.
Right back after this.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Getting ready for district high school football time in Oklahoma. Joining us now, PrepRedzone.com, our buddy Michael Knight, of course, the insider on high school football across the state. Michael, not a whole lot going on last week, some big blowouts, of course, around the state, but everybody's kind of focused now. Second season gets underway. Right, wipe the schedule, all the records clean. It's now time for district play in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that next week is week 5, which would be the halfway point of the regular season. But it's been a great first month of football, and now none of it really matters because, like you mentioned, it's the new season. What you did in non-district play doesn't matter if you started 3-0 or 0-3. As long as you take care of business over the next 7 weeks, you're going to have a good chance to make the playoffs and have a high seed. So we got some really great games coming up this week. In week 4, and it's always crazy when you have the opening of district play. It's still very early in the regular season, but there's a lot of games that will happen on Friday night that are going to decide district championships.
Yeah, most of them 7 o'clock kickoffs. The one I'm going to be at, I don't know what your schedule is, but I'm not going to miss that one at Jenks, Bixby, number 1 in the state. Of course, number 1 should be in the nation. It looks like what a juggernaut that is. Playing at number 2 Jenks. That's a great rivalry, renewed, and should be a heck of a football game Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't personally be there, but we will have someone there to have all the highlights of that game. Wouldn't have nobody, no presence there on Friday night. You're absolutely right. Bixby looks like one of the best teams in the country, not just in the state of Oklahoma. Jinx has been playing really good football to start this season as well. The matchup that I really love in this game is Jinx's offensive line and rushing attack with KD Jones, the Oklahoma State commit. They're playing at a very high level, but they're taking on a Bixby defense that has been lights out so far. You go back to last week, the Spartans were dominant in all three phases of the game. They set the tone early. It was number one versus number one, defending champ versus defending champ, and Bixby led Choctaw, I believe 36-0 by the end of the first quarter. They took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. So Bixby playing at an all-time high level. Jinx, they're playing with plenty of confidence as well. Bixby's the favorite coming into this game. Until somebody beats Bixby, they're going to be considered the favorite. But Jinx is going to make things very interesting. They're playing, like I said, playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum right now.
I'm still just amazed that Lauren Montgomery Bixby team is just to 2018. Unbelievable. Their record is 88 wins, 4 losses, but 2 of those came at the hands of Jenks.
Yeah, and of course, the Bixby's lengthy winning streak was snapped on national television on ESPN against Jinx, and so that was several years ago. So if you ask Lauren Montgomery, he couldn't care less about what happened several years ago. He's focused on today, not only what's going to happen on Friday night, but he's focused on today. He's obviously built the premier program in the state of Oklahoma. For years and years, it was Jinx, and then it was Union, and Jinx and Union going back and forth. And now I don't think there's a question about it. It's the Bixby Spartans. We've mentioned it a couple of times so far this season. This very well might be Lauren Montgomery's most talented team, and that's saying quite a bit. You just mentioned the record. You mentioned, all the accolades that Bixby's had. If this is his most talented team, that's saying quite a bit.
All right, that's 6A1. Against 6A1, against 6A2, 1-2 meeting at Jenks on Friday night. Now 6A3, Owasso at number 4 in the 6A. Broken Arrow, that's another great matchup.
Yeah, and a lot of people will talk about the headlines with the coaches, and obviously Owasso offensive coordinator Josh Blankenship returning to Broken Arrow, where he was the head coach for the last several seasons. But I mentioned it earlier this week. I don't really care about that headline. I know that it'll be a big talking point, Josh Blankenship returning to Broken Arrow, but this is a huge football game. Like you look at those district standings, and obviously there's going to be some really good competition down the road. But man, I think that those two teams, Broken Arrow and Owasso, they're off to good starts. Obviously Owasso had the tough stretch where they played number 1 Bixby, number 2 Jinx in back-to-back weeks. They bounced back, wrapping up non-district play with a big win. Broken Arrow is off to a good start, 2-1 on the season. Only lost to Arkansas powerhouse Fayetteville. This is a game that could decide the district championship. So I don't care as much about the coaching storylines. I care about the football that's played on the field, and it should be a very entertaining football game.
Yeah, Owasso's won 7 of the past 8, but Broken Arrow prevailed 13 of the last 22 meetings, including the most recent was a 41-40 win in the state quarterfinals back in 2021. How about 5A now? Looking at 5A, number 4, 5 Collinsville against number 2 Dell City on the road.
Yeah, I was at this game last year. It was not close. Collinsville got absolutely smashed by Dell City. Now, the Cardinals were without, some of their top players, so maybe it would have been a little differently, but Dell City was definitely the dominant team in that district last season. Collinsville going on the road, they're going to have their star running back, Scott Rigby, healthy for that one, but Dell City looks like they're playing at another level. They look exactly like the team from last season that made a run to the 5A semifinals. They're definitely the favorite in my mind in that district, but Collinsville could make things interesting. They're off to a 3-0 start. They've been playing really good football, but the level of competition is ratcheted up an insane amount this week as they open up on the road against Dell City.
Yeah, I love the quote from Cardinal coach Kevin Jones last year to that 61-10 loss to Dell City. He said, probably the longest night of my high school coaching career. Incredible. Now let's go to 4A. Fort Gibson at number 8, Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner got their first win of the season last week, which you're not used to saying that when it comes to the Wagner Bulldogs, but they're obviously under first-year head coach Kimes Gilbert. He got his first win with a 1-point victory over Bristow for Fort Gibson. It's a team that has some very talented players, but do they have enough to really, truly contend for the district championship? We're going to find out, because if they do, they can take care of business against Wagner. If not, it could be a long night, and Wagner could be, picking up some momentum in the first year without longtime head coach Dale Condict.
Another one to look at in 2A, number 6 Kingston at number 8 Kiefer. That was a heck of a game last year they played.
Yeah, and I think that's another game that could end up deciding the district championship. Both teams have really tested themselves. That's what I like about some of the matchups this week, where these teams knew what they were going to have to open up the district slate, and so they didn't schedule 3 guaranteed wins in their non-district play. Kiefer knocked off Vian in a very impressive come-from-behind win. Kingston has gotten some big wins early on this season. So both of these teams are going to come into this district opener battle-tested. And like I said, whoever comes out with the win is going to have a good chance to contend for the district title.
Okay, what other games you're going to have your eye on, Michael? Where will you be for Redzone.com this weekend?
Yeah, right down in Class 2A2, another matchup between top 5 teams. It's going to be Adair hosting Salina. Adair has had Salina's number over the last decade or so, but these two teams are very competitive. And when you talk about 2A2, Vian and Davis are the favorite to make it to the title game, but they're going to be on the same side of the bracket if they both win the district championship. That could open the door for either Adair or Salina to make it to the 2A2 title game. I'll be there on Friday night. As I mentioned, we'll have someone else at the Bixby Jinx game on Thursday. We'll have coverage of Lincoln Christian's district opener, Pryor's district opener as well. So a ton of coverage coming up on Prep Red Zone Oklahoma this week.
Look forward to it, Michael. Enjoy the weekend of high school football. We'll come right back and get a preview of the Oklahoma Derby at Remington Park's richest thoroughbred race after we take this time out.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at tulsadrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
The field is set for the Oklahoma Derby, Remington Park's richest race, the Grade 3 $400,000 event. Headlines the card on Sunday, September 28th. First race will be 3 p.m. Let's take a look at a few of the contenders. Big list of nominations for the Oklahoma Derby. Cole Battle, springboard mile winner from last year at Remington Park, working very well recently, trying to come off a short layoff where he ran a good second in the Indiana Derby at Horseshoe, Indianapolis on 4th of July weekend. Cole Battle ran in the Kentucky Derby this year after huge stakes wins at Oaklawn Park in the Smarty Jones Stake and in the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes, an event worth more than $1.2 million. Coming in from the Travers Stakes in Saratoga for the Oklahoma Derby, Bracket Buster ran second in that event to the 3-year-old superstar this year, Sovereignty. The last race was in Canada for Take Charge Tom, winning the Canadian Derby in late August for trainer Robertino Diodoro.
Take Charge Tom inside, has the stride. Pioneer Storm King back to second. Accidental Genius from the back. 8 to go. Take Charge Tom gets the jump. Diodoro Hughes, Take Charge Tom redemption by 6.
Diodoro has taken the route from the Canadian Derby to the Oklahoma Derby before, winning the race here in Oklahoma in 2013 with Broadway Empire. Mr. Omaha. The Oklahoma bred was a stakes winner as a 2-year-old last year, winning the Don McNeil Stakes. Most recently, his attempt came up 4th in the Super Derby at Louisiana Downs. The Grade 3 Oklahoma Derby, $400,000 purse at 1 mile and an eighth. Race number 10 on Sunday, September 28th, drew a field of 8. Number 1, Mr. Omaha at 8-1 odds. The 2, Iron Dome at 9-2. Hot Gunner, number 3 at 20-1. Bracket Buster, the 4, at 4-1 odds. The 5, Publisher at 7-2. Publisher, still a maiden, seeking his first career win, but he's already racked up more than $425,000 in earnings running in many big graded races over the last year. The 6 is Take Charge Tom at 8-1. Local, Colonel York, number 7 at 15-1, already a 2-time winner this season at Remington Park and a stakes winner in the Oklahoma Stallion Handicap for Colson Geldings. And the morning line favorite on the outside is the 8, Cole Battle, the Springboard Mile winner, 2-1 in the Oklahoma Derby. Oklahoma Derby Day is Sunday, September 28th. First race at 3 p.m. Also the start time for all of the big events on Oklahoma Derby Day, including the Hat and Tie Style Contest, free to enter on Track Level North, big cash prizes in multiple divisions. Also on Track Level North, the Oklahoma Derby Day Wine Tasting Festival gets underway at 3 p.m. Sample many of Oklahoma's top wineries and enjoy the event as the racing continues throughout the only Sunday of the season. Remington Park Racing begins Thursday through Sunday, Oklahoma Derby Week, September 25th through the 28th. Nightly racing at 6 p.m., except for that Sunday at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And remember, Thorough Enduro, the free online game, is still set and ready to go for you. Just log on at remingtonpark.com, click on the Thorough Enduro button, and begin to play. The game continues through December 20th, the final day of the season. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
And we're back to wrap things up on this version of Oklahoma Sports Scene and look ahead for some special guests next week, right after this break.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day, Sunday, September 28th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby, as the headliner. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Next week on Oklahoma Sports Scene, joined by a very special guest, David Briggs. He's a award-winning sports columnist for Toledo Blade. Talking about the difference now between the money in the Big Ten and the money in the SEC. The Big Ten is winning big time. Let's wrap up the Major League Baseball season for 2025. Hoping Bob Carpenter will join us, former longtime announcer of the Washington Nationals. He's getting ready to retire after this season. And we'll have a Drillers representative on to wrap up the Drillers baseball season. They look at already the 2026 at One Oak Field. And Michael Knight, of course, will review the big start of district play across the state of Oklahoma in high school football. All that next week, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until then, as we always remind you, be a good sport.